Ready to follow the leaders and learn how they approach business? Hi, my name is Dr. Susan Harrison, and welcome to Follow the Leaders. Today, I am interviewing Mr. Dan Stalp. I am so happy that you're here.
Likewise.
Of Sandler Training of Kansas City.
Yes.
So this is so wonderful to have him here, and I'm excited to interview you. You know, first, I just am a little interested, I'm very interested in knowing more about Sandler Training and how you started it.
Sure. So first of all, I was a client for 10 years. And then that was about 25 years ago. And then I was, at the time, a benefits broker. I sold out of that and started working with my coach, and I was basically going to be his succession plan. And that happened about 12 years ago.
Oh, that's wonderful. Now, I know that you primarily train salespeople.
Correct.
But you see salespeople as leaders. Can you expound on that?
I do. Well, I think the best salespeople tend to see themselves as leaders. And oftentimes they do end up running companies, or they become sales leaders like VPs of sales and things. But at the end of the day, it's about influencing people. And so, if you're a leader, people have to follow. And if people don't want to follow, you're probably not going to be a good leader, and you're probably not going to be a good salesperson.
And I'm sure you'll say that one of the things is being self-motivated. So can you talk on that for a little bit, the importance of that in leadership?
Yeah, having self-motivation is important in any role, but particularly leadership, because you need to be potentially innovative, you need to blaze the trail, you need to make sure that people are doing what they say they're going to do. But self-motivation really is defined as internal out. It could be that passion. A lot of entrepreneurs start a company because they have a passion for something. Or maybe their passion is to sometimes just be their own boss and have a lifestyle business. But it's important that you have that, because everybody's going to follow whatever that is.
Excellent. That is so true. So what type of risk have you taken as a leader of Sandler Training?
Yeah, so when I left the business I had and came over, my wife was home and we had 4 kids and they were about to go to private schools. So it was a big risk at the time, but she was supportive, and she knew that it made sense because I'd been talking about how it had helped me in my prior business. So we went ahead, and she basically gave me 18 months to get my act together. So that's what we did. I told her later, you should have told me 12 months because it took 18 months to get my act together. But anyway.
That's wonderful. It's good to have the support, and
yeah,
I know that you appreciate that.
I do.
What are some weaknesses that you see that leaders could work on?
Yeah, and every leader has weaknesses, okay? I think sometimes people just see them as, more than they are, that everybody's got something. But one of the things that can sometimes happen is a lack of accountability, and I see that a lot. So as a leader, and I don't mean just outcomes, just when you say you're going to do something, you do it. So if a leader thinks that that's micromanaging, or that's Big Brother, that's where I'm not going to do that because I never liked that in my last job, their business is going to suffer. So accountability is not to make people do the things they don't want to do. Accountability is to help people do the things they want to do.
And we all benefit from accountability.
Yes.
It's not a negative word.
That's right.
I have to have it.
You do. Yeah.
Yes.
We all do.
Yes, absolutely. So we talked about the weaknesses. What are strengths that you see in leaders that are really beneficial?
Yeah, I'd probably talk about what I would call competencies, and we've already talked about that motivation, or we call it ambition and drive, being action-oriented, not impulsive, but when you decide on something, you take action instead of thinking it over. But the third one is accepting responsibility, and that's where that really factors into that accountability too, in that that the buck stops here. So even if I have 5 managers reporting to me and then they have 10 people reporting to them, I need to make sure that I'm accepting responsibility with how to communicate with them in a way that's clear, that they get it, and that I'm not only holding them accountable to outcomes, but as or more importantly, to the things they have control over. And then they can then in turn do the same thing to their 10 reports.
Oh, that's great. I don't know everyone that is watching, but I'm going to assume that we have some people that are newer in leadership and some people that have been leaders for a long time. So can you just address a little bit about the importance of goal setting in leadership?
Yeah, goal setting is important in any role, but particularly in leadership, because you have to basically set cast a vision of sorts, which then leads to goals, which then leads to plans. So if they're not goal-oriented, then we just tend to do hysterical activity a lot. So and goal setting is harder than it is, because if it was really easy, everybody would be doing it, and frankly, most people aren't. But the first thing is to write it down, to share it with someone, and then to be held accountable to the things you have control over. And give yourself some wiggle room. I mean, can you imagine when COVID hits, someone says, yep, we're not changing anything. We're just going to keep doing what we're doing.
Right.
You got to have some wiggle room for things that happen that are outside your control.
That definitely would not have been effective.
Yeah.
Right. It is amazing how powerful it is just writing down your goals.
It is.
Yeah. So did you learn that through Sandler training, or is that something that you were doing before?
No, I learned that in like a business communications class in college.
Years ago,
I'm not going to say that it really took, but when I had my first interview, they asked for that. But I really perfected it when I was a client of Sandler's, and then of course it served me well as a leader within Sandler training.
Absolutely. What do you recommend as far as leadership? What are the first things to do?
Yeah, let's start with the 50-year-old because there's more experience there. If you're 50 years old, people have been giving you hints as to what you're really good at. And I think a lot of times people either just kind of poo-poo it. It's like, oh, it's no big deal. But if you have multiple people telling you the same thing, it doesn't have to be over and over, but over a period of time, there's something there. They're seeing something in you that you're not seeing yourself. So that's what I would call like pursuing what makes you significant, not just successful. Everybody's got a superhuman power. So I would recommend that. Plus,
I have to stop you because that's fantastic. The significant part.
Yeah.
I absolutely love that. Yeah. And so many people I think right now need that hope and to know you're worth it, you matter, and you have significance in you. Yeah. Let's build it, let's pull it out. And so I just had to stop you there because that was fantastic. Fantastic.
Yeah, everybody's got a superhuman power, whether you think you do or don't. And if we're listening to those around us that care about us and want to see us succeed, they're giving you hints as to that.
I know that you have so much more to share. You are so well known here in Kansas City as being someone that we can all learn from. So
thank you.
I appreciate the time that you took today and for us to learn from you. I really do appreciate it. Thank you so much. If you would like to see more of this, just follow us on Follow the Leader. And thank you so much, Dan, again for being here. My name is Dr. Susan Harrison and appreciate you watching.